What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I Hate Average Podcast back with another episode. I usually say another week, another episode, but I've been slacking, so I don't want to put that out there. But another episode. I'm excited about this. I'm excited. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I'm actually on the run, and well, not on the run, of course, but on the go, enjoying the summer in New York. This probably been one of the best summers in a while, weather-wise. No rain, not too much rain and all that. But anyway, been enjoying the summer. Thank you guys for being patient. This show is going in a different direction, and thank you guys for bearing with me and to continue to support. We got a great episode. We had a conversation with AnnB from Buzzin with AnnB. So we talked about her podcast, Buzzin with AnnB, how she got started, and just, about using the podcast space and social media space to really be transparent. Basically using your story to help others while helping yourself process through telling your story. So it was a fun conversation with AnnB. Check it out. Check out her podcast, Buzzin with AnnB. I'll talk to you guys in a couple minutes after this interview. Here we go. How did you get started? What's the origin story for AnnB?
All right, so I haven't really been in media for a long time. I've been in media for about a year, a little over a year.
Okay.
I've always blogged because I like writing. So I had a little blog site like many years ago, and I kind of like put it aside with kids, work, relationship. I kind of just put everything to the side. Mm. So it wasn't until I kind of like had my breakup. I guess that was like the breakthrough. And I decided to go with, doing media. So what I did was I went to one of my friend's shows down in the city that she did her podcast at. And I literally spoke to the guy, got his info. And 2 weeks later, I was like, okay, I'm ready to pay for my 2 hours.
Nice. Okay.
And that's just how it went. But my first baby was my very own podcast that I started doing through Anchor, where that's the podcast that I record from my phone. Okay. It's called What's Buzzin' with AnnB. And there I'm very transparent. It's basically letting people into my life. I talk about everything. My daughter's a teenage mom. I spoke about that, my feelings on that. I got some great feedback about it because, you never know who's listening because I just record it. I really don't pay attention to who's until I get a DM or, somebody like, oh, my friend said she heard your podcast and things of that nature. Then I might say, oh, okay, well, wow, I didn't know. And I had somebody hit me and say, well, Ann, I'm glad that you spoke about your daughter being pregnant. I guess it's time for me to have this talk with my daughter. And, I'm very transparent. Now, the one that I do with my two guys, the two co-hosts that I co-host with, when we were doing we used to call it Saturday Night Mayhem. We used to do it down in the city. That's us. We bug out. We had, artists come through, entrepreneurs and things like that. We did that. And then, I just got into the whole media. I started to bump into people and, we clicked. And I thank God for all the relationships in this past year and some change. Wow. I thank God for, all the good relationships that I built with people to actually kind of plug me in. I'm not really in a rush. Things take time.
Of course,
I'm not trying to be the hit, be top of the top or try to top anybody. I stay in my own lane. I do my own thing. I don't try to compete or battle with nobody, what they got going on. Or I just do what I do, and that's it.
Yeah, I feel you. And I think things is changing because I see a lot of people collaborating more. Like you said before, people have been fighting for positions and trying to, be the top person. But I think with podcasting and kind of like the new wave of media, it's kind of better to collaborate and kind of work together with people.
Yeah, I think it's cool to get me personally, I've always preferred, I'm not, I work with 3 guys. When I first started out, I was working with 3 guys. Okay. And people were like, well, how do you work with 3 guys? And it worked. Even though I started it, I never made them feel like they were inferior to me. I always made it my business to make sure everybody put their 2 cents in, everybody's ideas counted for something. I never made it seem like, well, I did this and I started it, so you got to do it my way. It's never been like that.
Yeah.
So, I've always made it to where, and it started off with 4 of us, then it was down to 3 of us, now it's down to 2 of us. And I mean, we all are still, but we're all still cool, but life happens, people, and I'm not here.
Relationships happen and all that.
Yeah. So but listen, those are still my bros to this day. I love them to death. Like 2 of them, I ain't know them from a hole in the wall, but I love them like my brothers. So it's just like, I really didn't choose. Sometimes I do be wanting to collab with females, but then I notice a lot of times, and even now, even though I do see a lot of collaborations, some females are very catty. There's a lot of attitudes that come to the table. And I'm 38. I'm not, a lot of the PRs, a lot of the media people I met are younger than me. Mm-hmm. So it's just certain things I just don't have patience for. Like, I'm quick to, get up from the table, push the chair in, and be like, hey, y'all handle that. Y'all do your thing. That's me. So I have to, be like that with myself. So therefore, I choose to kind of just, work with the guys that I work with. And that's it. Anything else, I'll be like, I can't do it. Sorry.
No, it makes a lot of sense. So, like you said, you enjoy being transparent on your podcast with what's buzzing with AnnB. What made you decide to, like, what let you know what boundaries to, like? I know you tell you're transparent, but you can't tell everything. So how do you know?
I don't really tell everything. All right, so I'm gonna tell you, I don't tell everything, but I tell enough to where people could kind of relate to it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't tell everything, but I tell enough to where, okay, because it's at the end of the day, look, the world we live in, everybody knows everything. So it's like,
True. You can't hide. You can't really hide.
You can't hide too much. So it's just like, I feel like even like relationships now or the person I'm doing now, I may not give word for word exactly what's going on, but I'm going to give you a little feel like, okay, this is what's going on in my life right now. And, and I know, and I got some feedback about it on my page, on my media page, like, well, Ann, I felt like you shouldn't have did. And I appreciate, I don't never take, criticism as, oh, you talking down to me. I appreciate that because then I know that you're listening. You understand what I'm saying? I know that you're listening. I know that you're hearing what I'm saying. You're not just saying that you're listening, you don't. So when people give me feedback, that lets me know, like, okay, damn, y'all really listening to what's going on.
It makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But to me, I don't know. Sometimes I want to be kind of a little more transparent, but then I'm kind of worried, like, anybody could be listening. Like, coworkers could be listening. Family members are listening. So sometimes I kind of hold back for how transparent I want to be.
Right.
Because
I do have people from my job that do listen to it, but they give me good feedback on, like, I don't talk, like, one thing, like, at the end of the day, what I do outside of work, as long as I don't talk about my job, because I really don't, like, my thing is, work is work. I don't have shit to say about work. I go to work, I make my money, and I come home. Yeah. I don't really have nothing to say about it. Nothing exciting really goes on there, but it's when I'm home, and in my life, I have 4 kids. My oldest is 21. My daughter's 17. She has a baby, and I have an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. So my life is, full of stuff going on.
Yeah, that's more interesting than work, yeah.
So, besides that, I'm still trying to, like, keep up my look, keep my weight together, and try to have a love life amongst all the craziness in my life. So I feel like, okay, I'm not the only person that's balancing it out. Let me talk about it. Because I know it's other people doing the same thing. So
absolutely. Now, you're right. I mean, your life is way more fun than work with 4 kids. That's a lot of. I'm so sure just like, when you get home, I'm sure you just start laughing, and that's when the real work starts.
Right.
So
I really, so being I really love, like, I love being transparent. I love people that I met a lot of genuine people who, I clung to that, I mean, a very short amount of time, like, really met some dope people who really, kind of, like, grasped onto me that tell me, stuff. And I love transparency. Like, I really can't get with the front end or the, trying to withhold or hold back. Like, just be yourself.
True.
That's, at the end of the day, and you got nobody else but yourself. It's
True.
not, don't try to be anybody else. So that's always my thing. So that's why I'm very, like, on my podcast, I goes in. People be like, damn. I'll be like, listen, I'm talking real shit because this is what's going on in my life. Like, my life is not, you know, I don't care what people see. You might see the little pretty face, the fat ass. That's not my life. Like, I post that stuff because most of my followers are men. And half of the time they're hitting me up, and it don't always be about some in my DM about, you know, like, oh, I want to get with you. It'd be some really, you know, good opportunities that landed in the DM.
True.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, that's not my, you know, when I post up there, that is my life, but it's not. Like, those are pictures. Let me come listen to my podcast. Let me tell you what AnnB really is about. And when they hear it, like, oh shit.
Yeah. That's real. That's real. I appreciate that, and it's helping me because I'm really gonna try to go in a little bit more and tell a little bit about myself. Because it's fun interviewing people, but it's also fun to kind of like get a release. Like when you're going through something, you really just have a space to just let it all out.
Right. And I write a lot too. Like I'm gonna end up having a book one day, all the stuff that I write.
Right.
So like besides like, you know, recording, so I don't record my podcast when I'm angry. You know, when I'm angry or I'm going through like some real life hard shit, I don't really record. I'll record after I'm like in a settled place and I can actually say, okay, you know what, I could talk about this. And then I'll, you know, I won't get into full details, but I'll just say, hey, you know what, I had a moment, blah, 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 blah. And I might talk for 10 minutes. Sometimes the story might go for 20 minutes. It all depends on how the story goes. So, you know, I'm sorry, I have some, if you listen to it, it's a few things on there that, you know, I talked about. You know, I talked about how my relationship of 7.5 years ended. You know, because at the end of the day, well, I'm a woman. There's a lot of women that listen to it. There's a lot of women that have been through it. And I get girls that hate like, yo, Ann, how could you talk about that? You're not afraid to talk about it? No. Why?
Yeah, it happened.
It's life.
It happened. Yeah, it happened.
You watch it on TV every day. Like, it's me talk. I said, just imagine. I said, why would you not want to hear somebody that's of your peer, maybe either older than you, younger than you, that's going through it, and you might be going through it. They might can help you get out of that situation. I had one lady hit me in my DM. I don't know her. I met her once. She listened to my podcast, and it's called, you know, Thinking Outside the Box. Now, you know, she picked up. She moved to Virginia. She started her little podcast with her and her daughter, and she's good. And she's like, and, you know, I really needed that. Like, you know, I've been so, like, to myself and just kind of, like, trying to stay, you know, in my own thing. I was scared to, you know, kind of step out the box and do different things. And thanks to listening to your podcast, it made me feel like, well, damn, maybe this is what I need to do. Yeah. So, you know.
That's strong. So, all right. So you was in a 7-year relationship that ended. What's like the first date? Like after the relationship is over and you moved on, what's that first date like? Because you starting over, meeting new people. Like, what is that like?
All right. So, okay. The first, it's hard. It was hard at first because I'm pretty set in my ways. You know, I was accustomed to a certain type of man, not saying the things that we went through, because besides what we went through, he still overall was a provider. He was a good father. So these are the kind of qualities I look for when I go and date.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, right now, I've been dealing with this dude that I'm dealing with for a year. And we're not in a relationship, but I've been dealing with just him for a year.
Yeah.
Now, we're going through our little craziness right now. So I'm just kind of like, and my thing is, I'm at a space in my life where I can't have shit interrupting my peace. So once I feel like you're trying to interrupt, I can't deal with it. Like, because I done dealt with so much turmoil for so long that I just don't have it in me anymore. Like, if it's not about you trying to help me and build me up, or we building each other up, but I just don't want to be bothered. I don't want to argue. I don't want to yell, because it's wasted energy. Because when I yell and argue with you, then what?
Yeah, that's true.
Then 5-6 minutes later, or I'm feeling all down and hurt or whatever, and then so what? And it's wasted energy. So, you know, it was hard, and I'm the type of female where I do when it comes to like opportunities, I'll deal with them. But when it comes to like dealing with another person, I'm kind of stubborn on moving on. But, you know, with my relationship, it was easy for me because I was kind of mentally done with the relationship before it was even over. But, you know, like moving on to something new, it's hard because then you're right back to where you started from, what you like to do.
Yeah.
Who that, you know.
That's only, how did
like
that work? How did that work?
And it's just like, you know, and I'm the type of person where I feel like if the chemistry, and this is overall, if the chemistry is good, I'm not one of them chicks that be like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to make this nigga wait 3 months. Because you can make somebody wait 3 months, you make somebody wait 6 months, make them 3 days. People are going to feel the way they're going to feel after the encounter regardless.
That's true.
And that's just how I feel about it. So all the time we're sitting here talking about who likes what, going on all these dates and doing all of this and doing all that. It's like, okay, either we're going to get to it or we're not. And then when we do, it's either it's going to be something after or we're going to continue to do it or we're not. We're going to go our separate ways. But it's just like, I feel like people waste a lot of time with I'm going to make him wait. I'm going to make him wait. I'm going to make him wait, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not judging because everybody is entitled to how they feel or how they choose to deal with relationships or how they choose to deal with this, you know, people. Me, my thing is, if I deal with you, 9 times out of 10, I don't already thought about how I felt about you sexually while I'm talking to you. You understand what I'm saying? So I know from pretty much the gate if it's going to go there or if it's not. I done talked to, me being single for 2 years, I done spoke to many different people, and some people I just don't like, and some people I just don't have that chemistry with.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And being that you're
like
older,
I know
more
from the
mature,
jump, like we could sit on the phone and text all day, talk all day, and we can hang out, go out, eat, drink, and then you go out, eat, drink, and I'm still going to feel the way I'm going to feel. And then some guys are like, well, I took you out to eat. I had one guy tell me, well, damn, I took you out to eat, and we went out to drink a few times. You need to tell me you don't even like me like that? And it's not that I don't like you like that. It's just like there's a conversation, because even, like, I'm a mental person, so a lot of how a person thinks mentally is what turns me on. If the stupid shit come out your mouth for the past time, I'll deal with it all day long, and then, you know, and then I won't, you know what I'm saying, I'll even still might speak to you, text here and there, but it's nothing that's going to happen. And that's just me. Like, I'm to a point where, you know, I've went through the stages of dealing with guys and just dealing with them because what they got or who they, you know, like what their status was. Now I'm like, you got to have something up here. We can't have a comment. If I can't pick at your brain about life and current events, I don't even want to talk to you.
True. Now, it makes a lot of sense. And like you say, you're a little more mature, so you know exactly what you want and you know what you don't want. So why waste time?
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've met people who put on a great front for months. And, you know, and then it's just like, you can't front but for so long. It's like, at some point in time, the mask falls off, it's over.
Yeah,
Stop
that's true.
And a lot of people do, and I mean, I've had my share of it because, you know, I'm just, you know, because even though I have been dealing with this person for a year, I still go on dates sometimes. I don't feel like I should eliminate my options. No, I'm not being sexually active with these other people, but I don't feel like I should, because who knows, I might meet my husband if I go on a date, because then you might not necessarily be my husband, so I might meet my husband if I go on this date. So I do still date, and it's just some guys are like, okay, what the hell did I just get myself? And sometimes I'm like, oh, this is just a waste of time for the stay in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wasted an outfit. Like you wasted an outfit.
Right, and it's just like, you know, you get all cute, and, you know, and then I just don't feel like going through the whole 20 questions and what are we doing and how's this and how's that, because it gets tiring. I get tired of the good morning text. I get tired of the how you doing, what you doing, how's work, how's this. How about you say, hey, pull up, or hey, I'm pulling up, let's go out. Like, I like those type of people. Like, hey, listen, you know what? Tomorrow, you know, this is what's gonna go on. Tomorrow, 7:15, just be dressed and ready. Don't worry about what's going on, just be ready. Yeah. I like those type of things. This other shit that's be going, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I swear my phone be dry. I don't care, because I don't answer text messages half of the time. So I'm just like, okay, what do y'all know I'm at work, so what do you want? And it's like, oh, how's work? What are you doing? And you know I'm at work between these hours. What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm not flying nowhere.
It's kind of fake sometimes. It's kind of fake because they don't really care what you're doing at work.
Yeah, it's just like, don't ask me that. And then, you know, I'll get to like, well, you didn't text me all day. Hello, I have a job, I work. Like, I come home, I have 2 little ones that I have to attend to.
Yeah, and a dog.
Right. Like, I just don't come in the house and just like, okay, let me just text him because, no, my time is not like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, the dating game is horrible. Like, I rather just I don't want to say, I'm more of a relationship type of girl because this dating thing is for the birds. I don't know how people do it for so long. It's horrible. Because it's horrible. It's just like, okay. And it's like everybody is so busy fronting, and it's like you see how they are on social media, then you turn around and you meet them in person, they're total complete opposite. And I'm like, oh, come on. Or because they're putting up this persona for 2 and 3 months, and you get to really know them. Half of the time, you ain't living where you say you living. You're living with your mom, you're living with your cousin, and you're saying you're living here. Yeah. So all types of. I done met so many people, and I was be like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Like, it's just crazy, and it's just like people just can't. And I'm a genuine person, and I'm very real with with who I am. I'm the type of person where if you told me from the jump you live with your mom, I can eat that because we have all been there.
There's different circumstances.
I was with my mom for a month when I was in the transition to moving. I was with my mom for a month while I was fixing up my apartment. It doesn't matter. It happens. Yeah. I'm not going to judge you. I will come sit with you and your mother at the house. Like, I don't care. But it's just that, when you start off with a lie, you got to continue to lie, and to the point where you just like, okay, why don't you just tell me? Then it's like, then it'll get to the, oh, well, I do live here. Why didn't you just say that from the jump? I knew that's where you lived at.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
You know what I mean? Picking you up from West Bubblefuck and all these other places. Just say you live right there. Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, it's crazy because it's just so much. It's like social media. I remember growing up, like I tell my kids all the time, y'all will never know how it feels to sit outside so the lights come on outside because y'all kids are so caught up in TV and social media. Y'all don't know what it feels like to interact with your friends anymore. Like, I remember sitting outside with my friends on the porch till 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Getting yelled at, telling us to bring our asses home because we still outside because we want to talk to our friends. Like, these kids have, like, and you're still in your night clothes on the porch in your nightgown talking to your friends. Like, these kids don't know. Like, I tell my kids all the time, y'all have no clue what y'all missing because y'all be so caught up. And that social media is the same way. Like, people are so caught up with comparing themselves to who has this and who has that. Just live in your truth and be who you are, and that's it. And you get a long way that way. All that fronting and competing with this one and acting like you got this and you don't. It's like when you log off, you're still in reality. Like, yeah,
you got to pay your bills. You still got to.
Right. Like, I don't have it. I tell people, I said, if I don't have it, I don't go out. Like, I stay in my house. I pay rent. I have phone. I have cable. I have kids. So it's sometimes I can't be everywhere, and I would love to be out interviewing people and doing this. It's hard. I can't. Yeah. Sometimes I don't get up for work in time. My only day off during the week is Wednesday. So if it ain't an event going on Wednesday, I can't deal. Yeah. Saturdays is cool. Sunday is usually my rest day. But if I had to, I would go. But a lot of times, a lot of social events are not really going on the weekends. They're usually during the week. So
yeah, true. And it's hard. It's hard to kind of move around during the week.
Trust me.
It's hard.
Because I be trying, I'll be RSVPing, and I'm like, oh, God, why did I RSVP? I can't even get there. Because I'll be getting off of work 7:30 at night, 8 o'clock, getting in the house. So I'm just like, you know what, Ann, just forget it. Like, my summer has literally just been working. And, I'm starting to do, I'm trying to get back in the swing of things as far as, interviewing and, doing shows and, going to events and, speaking with artists or whoever and, kind of getting some feedback from them about things and, stuff like that. But, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. It's not easy.
It definitely is. So how do artists treat you? Because you said you was writing and you was kind of, blogging. But how did you, like, when you first started interviewing artists and having them on your show with your team, how was that transition? How was artists treating you and all that? And
they was, what's so crazy about it? Because the artists that I had on my show, they were pretty dope, and watching some of them, it's dope. It's like watching like a baby grow because I done seen some of them come from like, all right, they was all right. So now they're like really doing their thing. They moving out in the streets. They got stuff going on. They're in this video. And it's dope because I'm like, damn, I remember when I first interviewed you and you just had this. So, it's cool. I like seeing that because that just shows growth, and it's like everybody's moving how they, everybody's moving how they say they wanted to move. Like I remember interviewing people like, hey, listen, I'm trying to do this, and then actually seeing them a year from there, like, damn, look, he really doing what he said he was gonna do, and that's always dope to me. But the artists, I got good rapport with a lot of them, and some of them I still speak to, and they'll hit me up to come to their shows and stuff like that. Sometimes I can get there, sometimes I can't, but but it wasn't. I mean, it really wasn't like when I started interviewing artists, I really wasn't nervous or anything about it because I'm very outspoken and outgoing. So it just felt like, it just was natural to me. Like, don't get me wrong. The first, the first interview a real interview that I really did is when I did Kid and the ex-football player. I forgot his name. I interviewed them. That I was
That's
a little
big,
nervous.
Yeah, Kid, Cash Money. I mean, Young Money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I interviewed him, and I forgot his name. Something Brenner. I forgot his name, but I had interviewed them. I just started my show in December. But that February, they had a press run, and the guy who I was doing my show at his studio had hit me like, hey, listen, I've got these guys coming. I want you to come through, interview them. I was nervous as hell, but it flowed through. Like, I'm just like, because it wasn't like sitting with, the indie artists. It was like, okay, they're not saying they're not nobody, but it didn't feel the same. Like, I was like, okay, these guys, they're of stature, they out here, so when I interviewed them and then they made me feel so comfortable, I'm like, oh shit, okay, this works. But that interview, I was very nervous about.
Well, it's good with they're media trained, so they know how to treat you and things like that.
Huh?
I said they're media trained, so they knew how to act around you.
Cool. And even when he reposted it, and he commented on it and said, you're super cool, and keep it up, queen. That really made me feel good. Like, okay, like, what I'm saying, he, like, somebody that doesn't know me, that of stature is telling me like, yo, you're dope, keep it up. Because I was like, oh god, I'm fucking nervous as hell. That's up. But they made me feel so comfortable, and it flowed so natural, and I was like, okay, I can do this again. So,
let's say after the summer, because I know you're busy right now, probably within the next 2 or 3 months, what can we look forward to from AnnB?
Well, I'll be doing a 10-minute segment on this show in Brooklyn called The Showcase, and they air their show on YouTube and the Brooklyn Cable Network.
Nice.
Which I'm not really nervous about it, but I think that's, he hit me with the opportunity to do. So I'll basically have a 10-minute segment where there'll be a little bit of gossip. I'll talk about, I'm going to try to be in a lot of these showcases and talking to some of these artists, so I could come back and kind of chop it up for the 10 minutes during my segment and say, hey, I was so-and-so. So I'm going to be moving around a little bit.
Nice.
And God willing, I'm going to definitely be moving around a little bit because now that I'm going to be doing this show, it's a good opportunity to kind of, see what's buzzing with the bees. So,
of course,
everybody can kind of get familiar with me. And the whole, people, believe it or not, people do watch the Brooklyn Cable Network because I watch my cable network in my town. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they... Huh?
I said, of course, I do too.
Yeah, so, I'm just like, that's going to happen. So, we'll see. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get back in the studio and start recording my podcast with my co-host. But, with work schedules and so on and so forth, it's like, but I'm really working on doing something in my house, like kind of like a spin-off to What's Buzzin' with AnnB podcast, but actually recording, something in my house, and I'm working on a few things.
that's great, though. It seems like you're constantly evolving and coming up with new ideas constantly, so that's an amazing thing.
Right. Yeah, so that's what's going to be going on in my life. I'm going to still be posting my little videos on my page and kind of giving, people some kind of message, some type of feedback. And, I didn't know people was watching those. I get DMs about those too. But I just put it out there. Because that's just me. Like, I'm not looking for, like, approval, or I'm not looking for 1,001 people to do it, because I feel like if it touches one person, that's enough for me.
Yeah. And I think people appreciate your honesty because, like you said, you're not fronting. It's kind of rare to go on social media and see somebody like really, really being real. Like, so everybody tries to make it seem like they have the best of this or they, but just seeing somebody being real authentic is kind of refreshing. So I think that's probably why people kind of gravitate towards you.
Yeah, so that's what you guys have to look forward to. So August 7th, I'll be in Brooklyn taping.
Nice, okay.
I'm not sure when the show's going to air, but I'll keep everybody posted when it's going to air. And I'm definitely working on a spinoff. So I want to do some visuals for What's Buzzin' with AnnB because I just want to try to get more feedback. I get feedback from them listening to it, but I kind of want to do something where they can actually see it. And, because I have my own YouTube channel where I posted like past shows on it, but I want to do something kind of spin off and kind of like sitting in my house and being really transparent, like sitting in my house and no makeup on, and y'all see what it is, and talking my shit.
Yeah. That should be fun. The no makeup.
And seeing my crazy kids and my dog. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be as transparent as possible because there's a lot of people that's afraid to do it, and I'm the type of person I share information. I'm not I don't know. Go ask. If you ask me how to do a podcast, I told many people like, well, how you do your podcast? Listen, I record it from my phone.
Yeah.
I have Anchor on my phone. I record it on Anchor, and Anchor goes to Spotify. It goes to Google Play. It goes to Apple. It goes to a few other places that I don't know the name of. But it goes to all those. I record on Anchor, and it goes to all those places. So I tell people, download the app, you know what I'm saying, and just play with it. Play around with it, record, see what you want. So I talk about any and everything. I can listen to the radio. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me talk about this. Let me give my feedback on this because I know somebody 9 times listens to the radio and probably, and now I'm talking about it and want to hear my feedback.
That's true.
So.
That's true. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Let people know how they can reach out to you, every kind of how they can listen to the podcast, how they can talk to you, all of that.
What's Buzzin' with AnnB is on Spotify. It's on Google Play. It's on Apple. My social media is IM_AnnB. That's my own personal page. My media page is Buzzin' with _AnnB. And that's where I post like a lot of little gossip and, my podcast on there. And the link to my YouTube channel is on those pages. So that's how you can keep up with what's going on with me and, follow the B.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, I want to thank you guys for your continued support of the podcast, I Hate Average Podcast. I know we've been slacking this year. I don't know what's going on this year, but it's not one of our most progressive and productive years with putting out episodes. But actually, we have a lot of fun interviews lined up that we haven't put out yet that we're going to be putting out. But thank you guys for the continued support. Thank you guys for staying on me. Thank you guys for, asking, emailing about the episodes and asking to get on the show. It kind of keeps me pushing, and I want to thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for this episode. Thank you, AnnB. Please check out AnnB. Support all of her endeavors. Check out her podcast. Follow her on social media. Do all you have to do to support her. Very, very smart, very, very transparent. A lot of fun talking with her. So we're back at it weekly. Trust me, I know I said it a couple of times and haven't come through, but we are definitely back at it weekly. The podcast is back. I Hate Average Podcast. I don't really have an explanation as to, I've just been trying to feel out different ways that I wanted to take things, but we're back focused on the original mission, on telling different stories. I want to have conversations with people who are doing interesting things that are not getting the quote-unquote buzz on mainstream media. So I want to continue having those different type of conversations. So I'm back at it, reinvigorated. I Hate Average Podcast. We are back. Thank you guys for the continued support. Talk to you next week.